What's going on, y'all? It's another day on the Day One podcast. I'm your co-host, Anthony. I got my co-host, Kyle. Say what's up. What's happening, y'all? Let's get this shit going, baby.
We're riding so low. We're riding so low, so low. All of you off the wagon. What's going on, y'all? It's another day on the Day One podcast. I'm your co-host, Anthony. Just your co-host tonight. No Kyle. No special guests. It's just me. Apologize that, we haven't been as locked in as we should be this NFL season. Kyle's got a crazy work schedule. I got a lot of stuff going on, but it's okay. We're back just in time. NFL playoffs right around the corner. The NBA's heating up. The NBA Cup. I hate that. Makes them sound like a European sport. The NBA Cup. It's the in-season tournament, bro. Right around the corner. Group play ending soon. So drop a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Shout out Kyle in the chat. Miss you, big dog. Hey, tell Lowe's to give you some scheduled PTO so you can get back on the program. Please. Please, bro. So, as you can tell in the title, we're going to talk. We're mainly going to touch on the birds because, there's a lot of news. A lot of breaking news. A lot of divisiveness. A lot of uneasiness among the Philadelphia Eagles fan base. But before we kind of get into that, I just kind of want to break down the last week's games. So let me pull that up here. Because I do want to talk about more than just the Eagles. As Kyle, our lovely co-host, says, AJ Jalen relationship dead. Hey, we'll talk about it. We'll get into it. I personally don't think their relationship is dead. Okay. That's just me. I don't think the relationship is dead. I think we've seen this in the past where AJ has a bit of an emotional moment and he doesn't really convey it the best among the media. And it looks like something that it's not. And I think this is another scenario because there's literally a picture of AJ, Jalen, and Smitty pregame praying together 2 weeks ago. AJ and Jalen, after the touchdown against the Rams, are celebrating together. Come on. Wild card exit. Come on, bro. Hey, the Jets don't even know what the wild card is, bro. What's a wild card? Hey, you would die to be 11-2 and have this fake news circulating. But y'all what? 3-9? Is that what y'all are? 3-10. Yeah. Y'all would die to be 11-2 and them questioning Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. But hey, it's another story for another day. So why don't we do this? Let's touch on the last week's slate of games, week 14. Let me bring it up to the forefront. So here we are, looking a little, things are going to look a little weird. All right. There we go. My bad. Okay. So, yeah, nobody down here, Lowe's doesn't love Kyle. So, let's... How we like that? Okay. So, let's talk about it. The Thursday night game, Lions-Packers. Nail biter. Lions win 34-31. They honestly could have lost this game, but hey, shout out to Shout out to that offense, Jared Goff, the running game. They have a hell of a running game, that offensive line, and when those two in Sonic and Knuckles get it going, they're hard to stop. And MCDC lives to see another day. He put it out all out on the line, 4th and inches. Jared Goff fell down, handing the ball off, but don't matter. They got the job done. The Packers had them on the ropes. But hey, it is what it is. It's a good win for the Lions. But hey, they have a tough out the last month of the season here. They got the Bills coming up this week. They got the Niners, who, say what you want, they're still trying to get in wild card contention. The Vikings again, and the Bears. That's probably a dub. But yeah, so Lions. I would say they're probably the best team in football right now. I would say it's Lions and then us probably. Not really talking about all the drama, but yeah, Lions did good. The Sunday games here: Jags beat the Titans 10-6. It was like a baseball game. Not a lot of thoughts here. This is just the battle of mid, as you can see. 2, 3, and 10 teams walking out of this game. Like it says here, if misery loves company, both of these teams sure enjoy each other's company. So yeah. Next game, Jets on the road against Miami. Tough overtime loss. The Jets looked really good. But again, most of this season, the Jets have looked good. They just can't put it together, and they lose yet again. This is going to go down as one of the weirdest collapses of a football team that I've seen in my entire life. And that even includes like the Eagles collapse last year, the Dream Team, the Patriots of 2019. Trying to think of any other good teams that there were that just like collapsed. I mean, the Steelers of 2020, the COVID Steelers, maybe. This Jets team loaded with talent, absolutely loaded with talent. Dead in the water. They have an organizational problem. I've pointed that out many times on this program. Not good for Kyle and the boys, but hey, it is what it is. You're probably going to be drafting a quarterback next in the draft. I would if I were the Jets, just because it just doesn't seem like Aaron Rodgers is going to stick around next year. And honestly, hey, I don't blame him. Get younger. You have that young nucleus: Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Mr. Sneeze, bless you, thank you, on the defensive line. Sauce is going to get a bag. You have young nucleus. Just go out and get a bright head coach, a good young quarterback, and turn this puppy around. The pieces are in place. You just need a good head coach and a good quarterback, and you're off and running. So I think long term for the Jets, it's fixable. I just think Woody Johnson needs to get his paws off the operation. And how about the Dolphins turning around? Tua got back. He had his little CTE run-ins. Glad to see him healthy and balling out. But the Dolphins are right in the thick of it for the wild card conversation in the AFC, and they're doing a good job. So shout out to them. They're peaking at the right time. All right, next game here. Falcons, Vikings, Kirk's homecoming. Not what Kirk would have imagined. Sam Darnold had an absolute day. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison put the league on notice. This Vikings team has flown under the radar this year, and myself included. They're 11-2. They're right there with the Eagles and the Lions. I just the Sam Darnold scares me in December and January football games. I don't know. He's got to win games for me to shake that. That's the one thing I have against him. But hey, Kevin O'Connell has the boys playing good. And and that defense is playing lights out. And feels bad for the Falcons. I mean, we looked at them as, the runaway favorites in the NFC South. They're 6-7. The Bucks are, I think they are, within a game of the Falcons. So that race is heating up, and the Falcons kind of peaked too soon. So we'll see how that goes. But hey, good win for the Vikings to be right on the toes, right in that number one seed conversation. As soon as they have an opportunity to, beat Detroit yet. So all of that is much on the table. Next game here, Saints Giants. Another mid-off, you may say. The Giants had an opportunity to send it to overtime off a Drew Lock legacy drive, and wouldn't you know, blocked field goal, Saints win. Shout out to their interim head coach. I forget the guy's name. I saw it on the TV like multiple times on Sunday. The Saints are 3-1 since they fired Dennis Allen. Shout out to them. Good to see that. And the Giants, hey, fortunately for you, you will have a top 3 pick in the draft next year. So you can go out and get Shador Sanders or Travis Hunter, one of these guys. Imagine Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter. That would be electric. But I don't think the Giants deserve that. So, but we'll see how that goes. But hey, shout out the Giants doing Giants things. Love it. Panthers, Eagles, bit of a nail biter. Eagles come out with the victory, 22-16. There's a lot of thoughts about this one. I'll give you a little synopsis because we'll kind of get into it because the Eagles drama ties into this game directly. So I don't want to spend 20 minutes on it here going through the matchups. So we'll come back to it. But I will say this. We surely did not play our best ball at all. Not one bit. And the Panthers, they've been on the rise as of late. They have nothing to play for but pride. And, we looked at this team coming into the season with Dave Canales at head coach. I'm a big fan of him. He did wonders for Baker Mayfield. I was like, this is a great pairing for him and Bryce Young. If anybody's going to get Bryce Young right, it's Dave Canales. And it took some time, but here we are. They're starting to peak at the right time. Things are kind of clicking for Bryce Young. And hey, looked pretty good. They ran the ball very well, and they had us on the ropes. But hey, they had Kansas City on the ropes. They had Tampa Bay on the ropes. So if we're going to say, oh, the Eagles almost lost to a shit team, well, hey, Kansas City almost lost to a shit team, and so did Tampa Bay. So, hey, it is what it is. The media will spin it however they want. Saquon Barkley, Eagles all-time single-season leading rusher. Shout out to Saquon Barkley. Thank you. Joe Shane and John Mara for making this happen, bro. We are in the peak years of Eagles football because of you giving us a generational talent and potential Hall of Fame running back in Saquon Barkley to pair with such a great offensive line. It's been a historic season watching what Saquon Barkley has done, and just the fact that we can have a legitimate conversation about Eric Dickerson's 40-year all-time leading rusher record being broken is crazy. Because nobody would have ever thought 2105 would be broke, but hey, here we are. About a month left. Saquon needs just under 500 yards, and he's on pace to do it. So if he keeps doing that, we got a legit shot. And shout out to him. We were bound for a game like this on a 9-game win streak, sandwiched in between 2 huge games in Baltimore and Pittsburgh. But the good thing is we got the win. We have a lot of things to clean up, and I believe we will clean them up moving forward. So big game this coming week, though. I will say that. And speaking of that big game, Steelers beat the Browns in Pittsburgh, 27-14. They do their thing. Russell Wilson is looking phenomenal. It's crazy because he kind of had the written off story. Honestly, I wrote him off after Denver, and shame on me. Russell Wilson's still a great quarterback in the league, and he's got the Steelers playing well. Mike Tomlin once again, great coaching job for him at that in the Steelers. They're a dark horse Super Bowl contender. Not a lot of people are talking about Pittsburgh. That defense has been great, and with the run and play action pass, they've been tremendous. So kudos to Pittsburgh. It's going to be a big game this week against them for sure. Next game here, Raiders lost to the Bucks. Now you can see the Bucks are leading that NFC South. That's not a team I want to play in the wild card or in the first or second round of the playoffs. So, the Bucks, they're getting healthy at the right time. Mike Evans is back. Bucky Irvin, Rashad White in the backfield doing their thing, and this is a Raiders team that sucks. So, not a lot of thoughts on that. Kind of the one to be expected that the Bucks would take care of business, and they sure have. And here is this game here, the Seahawks-Cardinals game. That was a huge one for the NFC West division. That's been hanging in the balance for the greater part of the season. Seahawks take care of business 30-18 in Arizona. And the Seahawks are now 8-5. They have a stranglehold on the NFC West. If the Rams have something to say about it, they will in the last month here or so. How about Geno Smith and the boys? How about him? Kyle wrote him off, but he ain't right back. And you'll love to see Geno balling out, but not against my team. So, big win there for Seattle with the division matchup there. The Cardinals still have an outside chance, I'd say, to make the playoffs, but that really hurts their playoff chances. Bills Rams, what a game this was. What an offensive shootout this was, and the Rams taking care of business at home. Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua were tremendous. They were sensational. And Josh Allen, 6 total touchdowns, an MVP-esque performance in a loss, I may add. He lost. So I just want to put that out there. But what a game this was. If you had overs, you cashed. If you had these guys on fantasy like I did, you made out well in your fantasy matchups. The Rams, again, they're kind of like Tampa Bay here, where they dealt with their fair share of injuries. Things looked like they went down the tubes, but they got their guys back and now they're rolling. The Rams and Bucks are both teams that you don't want to face in the first round of the playoffs. So the way that they're clicking right now, yeah. But shout out to the Rams. We beat them. That's all that matters to me. And 49ers beat the Bears at home 38-13. Nothing really to write about here. The Niners just kind of hanging on for dear life at any remnants of a wild card playoff berth. Gotta beat the guys on your schedule. They got the Lions coming up. They got a tough game there, and it's gonna get murky. We should check the playoff standings after this. We could do that. And then Sunday Night Football here. Chiefs edge out the Chargers. Pause 19-17. How the hell does Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs keep doing it? How do they do it? They win off of a bank shot field goal off the left upright. I don't know what you want me to tell you. The Chargers played a really good game, but you can't beat the devil magic of the Chiefs. Somebody's got to do it, and hopefully somebody does it, because I don't want to see a three-peat just because I know what my team can do. And there's so much parity in the NFL right now that you want to see different teams like be in the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. Like, you see the Eagles or the Lions or who's another AFC team that probably Houston, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Like, hey, there's so much parity in the NFL. If there's still one team that wins on top every single time, what's going on here? You know what I mean? I don't think we've ever seen this much parity in the NFL, and just for the Chiefs to be doing what they're doing, hey, shout out to Andy Reid and the coaching staff there. Him and Spags doing a tremendous job. And then Monday night, we had the Bengals beat the Cowboys in Jerry World 27-20. Again, we've said this about Dallas all year. Their lack of run game has kind of hurt. Rico Dow has stepped up a little bit, and he's been a good bright spot for them. But in my opinion, Rico Dow would be like if the Eagles let DeAndre Swift walk in free agency and we just rolled with Kenny Gainwell, if that kind of makes sense. Good player. I don't really see him being like a game-changing, high threshold RB1 in the league. He's just kind of like a bridge RB1. That's what I see Rico Dow as. And, he's had some success having the bulk of the touches, but, nothing really to write home about. On the other hand, Jamar Chase continuing his historic run as my fantasy wide receiver. So another tremendous performance by him, 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow looked good, although he did throw a pick. And Chase Brown, Sidney Brown's brother, shout out to you getting tubs. The Bengals are all but out of it. And it's a shame because, hey, they have a really good offense, prolific offense. Joe Burrow's playing out of his mind. If the Bengals were, division leaders right up there for the AFC number 1 seed, maybe Joe Burrow would for sure be in MVP conversations. But the truth of the matter is this: they're 5-8. They're probably not making the playoffs. So it is what it is. These things happen in the NFL. So yeah, there is that. So let me switch back to now. Hey. So let's see if we can pull up really quick before I give my soliloquy on the birds. If I can find playoff picture. No, I don't like this one. Bear with me here. I am looking for something good. Okay, I think I found something. All right, let's take a look here. So this is essentially the playoff picture. At the moment, it's the Chiefs and the Lions at 12-1, number 1 seeds in both respective conferences. How about it? Shout out to both of those teams for doing what they do. Over on the AFC side, we'll start over there. Buffalo at 10-3. They're the number 2 seed. And Pittsburgh at 10-3. They're the number 3 seed. Number 4 seed is the Houston Texans. They all but have the AFC South in the bag. They're 2 games up on the Colts. Colts can make a run. The Houston Texans, they've been a hit or miss team. I'm not gonna lie, but they have the South right now. It looks like it's probably gonna stay that way, and that you see if these things happen, What a tough matchup they'll have, Baltimore. But it's in Houston. Um, so then we kind of look to the wild card hunt for the AFC, you may say. Uh, 5, 6, and 7, all at 8-5. Baltimore, LA Chargers, Denver Broncos. Who would have thought the Denver Broncos would be here? Shout out to Bo Nix, potential Rookie of the Year candidate. And the Chargers, great coaching job by Jim Harbaugh to turn that program around. Looking at the wild card here, in the AFC, it looks like the one on the outside looking in at the moment is 2 games back. Miami and Indianapolis at 6 and 7, and then Cincinnati at 5 and 8. They'd need to win out and have some of these teams here 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lose, so that they would have a chance. They have a mathematical chance, but the likelihood of them making it is very slim. So very interesting there. We'll see how that goes, but it seems like in the AFC, the cream has risen to the top, but there is lots of room for movement among the seeding. So like matchups are not at all set in stone, but it does seem like, these are probably going to be the 7 teams, if we're being honest. NFC side, so we'll look here. Detroit, obviously, number 1 seed. We'll see how long that holds up. They have a tough out the rest of the month. I mean, they got Buffalo this week. I think they have Buffalo this week. And then San Francisco, Minnesota, 3 tough games. But hey, very winnable for Detroit. They've beaten everybody except for Tampa Bay. So yeah, 2 seed here. We have the Philadelphia Eagles at 11 and 2. We pretty much have the division wrapped up. With a win and a Washington loss, it makes it official. So hopefully Washington loses and we win this week. But we pretty much have a 2.5 game lead on Washington. So it's looking up. We're focused on the number 1 seed, and it's obviously us, Detroit, and Minnesota. So we'll see how that shakes out. But other than that, we'll probably be locked into the number 2 seed and have at least 1, maybe 2 playoff home games. So we'll see. Number 3 seed, Seattle Seahawks. Again, they have a stranglehold here on the NFC West. If we look down, they're a game ahead, of the LA Rams, and 2 games ahead of Arizona and San Francisco. So they are in a good spot. There's still time for some of these teams, but for Arizona, San Francisco, it's going to be tough. They're going to need quite a bit to go their way. And then 4th seed, Tampa Bay. I think that they're probably going to win that division if Atlanta doesn't get their shit together. And hey, New Orleans, a game behind Atlanta, 2 games behind Tampa. Who knows? Who knows? So they have an outside chance, and Carolina don't really have nothing going for them. So really, it's between Tampa and Atlanta. New Orleans has an outside chance, but if I had to guess, Tampa and Atlanta. So we'll see how that goes. And then on the wild card side, we have Minnesota at 11 and 2. Crazy that they're this good. I for sure was not one to foresee the Vikings being 11 and 2 good with Sam Darnold, but shout out to Kevin O'Connell and that coaching staff for putting him in the best position to succeed, because none of us would have thought it, but here we are. And then 6 seed Green Bay at 9 and 4. They've been playing good. They're kind of that team, in my opinion. they've beat teams that they should beat, but all of the teams that, you're going to have to go through to get to a Super Bowl, like a Philadelphia, Detroit, and Minnesota, you've lost to all of them. So I don't really take the Green Bay Packers seriously in the conversation of Super Bowl contender, but they're definitely a playoff team. They will definitely be in the playoffs. They could make some things shake. We'll see. But they're not going to be a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. I just don't think they can beat Detroit, Philly, or not even Minnesota. I think they could have a chance against Minnesota, but I just don't. I don't think Detroit or Philly they can go in and beat. They will have to go into Ford Field or the Link to beat them, and I just don't think it's going to happen. And then 7th seed Washington Commanders at 8-5. They've been a great story, great turnaround for Dan Quinn. Jaden Daniels has been playing great. In its totality, as of the last month or so, things kind of tapered off. He had that good game against the Titans before their bye week. Kind of get right a little bit. So we'll see how they come out of the bye week this week and finish the rest of the month of December. But this is definitely a team that they deserve their flowers for the turnaround. But that's all they are really is a good feel good story. They'll be a first round exit. See how Kyle said about a half hour ago, wild card exit. He was talking about the Washington Commanders. So there is that. So let's look at the wild card race in the NFC because I do think it's kind of interesting. Between Seattle, you can make a case for Seattle, Washington, Los Angeles, and then really these 3, 6, and 7 teams down here in Atlanta, Arizona, San Fran. They're all very much in it. They're going to need some things to shake their way, but definitely things to, monitor for sure. The NFC playoff picture is not done. It is far from over from being done. So we'll see how that shakes out. We can do some what if predictions here. Which is a very fun thing to do. So maybe not today, but maybe after next week. Hopefully my big dog comes back and we can kind of do something like that, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, the Eagles win this week right here. Yeah, the Bills and the Lions do play, so if that's the case, they still have the tiebreaker. Yeah. So we'll need, it's gonna be tough for that number 1 seed. So we'll see. So yeah, that's all I really got for there. So yeah, drop a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Playoffs are on the horizon. We're gonna lock in. I want to talk about the Eagles drama that's come out about Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and the state of the team after the win against the Panthers. Figured I'd take the next however rest of the show to kind of touch on it. So in case you've been living under a rock, let's just set the stage here. The Eagles win 22-16 against the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. It wasn't a pretty win by any means of the imagination. Saquon Barkley did his thing as he always does. Over 100 and something yards rushing. Jalen Hurts had 108 yards passing, but 3 total touchdowns. He didn't turn the ball over. I can pull up the stats here exactly to give you an idea of what we're working with here. So Jalen Hurts was 14 for 21, 108 in the air, 2 passing touchdowns, quarterback rating of 110. Not bad. Obviously, the yards are kind of concerning, but when you look, he had 59 yards on the ground, a touchdown, rushing. So you know, surely it leaves more to be desired. AJ Brown was our leading receiver at 43 yards on 4 targets. Surely it leaves more to be desired. Um, you look at the game tape, and there's surely plays where Jalen Hurts, and he's shown this at times this year over the course of the season. He stays in the pocket a little too long, or he's just a little indecisive, and he's a little late on reads, and things don't formulate, they fall apart, pocket collapses, he has to run, or he gets sacked, or someone's got to throw it away or whatever. you know Whatever it is, he's still working through that offense. You would think, by December, that's something that should be ho hum. But, you know, there's a lot of questions and a lot of things to be desired when you think of that. But when you really dissect it, over those first 4 weeks of the season when we were passing the ball, we had AJ Brown go out. Devontae Smith ended up going out. And, the question with this Eagles offense was, what is the identity? Well, we know what the identity is. Do they know what the identity is? Run the football. And while, we had this carousel of injuries with AJ and Devontae, Saquon on the offensive line is single-handedly carrying us to New Orleans. They are putting in work. They're having a historic season. And, AJ comes back, Devontae comes back, and, the numbers aren't what they, want them to be. But we're still winning games. And we see when Jalen Hurts has to make plays, when he needs to make throws, he makes them. He makes the plays when he needs to in the crucial situations. We saw it in the Rams game, saw it in the Baltimore game, especially in the Baltimore game. That game was in the balance, and Jalen Hurts, threw us into range enough and had the defense honest enough to where, we did that and ran the football and had them honest enough that we were able to complement the run and pass and win that game. And in even past this season, like Jalen Hurts has proven that he can make the throws, he can win you football games. All last year he was doing that under incompetent coaching. So with Kellen Moore, and with the generational talent in Saquon Barkley, like, does he need to be Superman? No, he doesn't. We have a generational talent at running back and probably the top offensive line in football. We don't need to complicate this. Number 1 offensive line, number 1 running back. There you go. That's the ho hum. And so we come into Carolina, and things haven't looked good. Again, there's some subjective reads where Jalen Hurts looks AJ Brown's way, ready to throw it, but he sees that the corner is lurking. They're going to make a play on it, whether it's a pick or an incompletion. So you know what? He moves off of it and goes elsewhere. It is what it is. Only Jalen Hurts knows what's going through his head at that moment, exactly what the thought is. So, it is what it is. AJ obviously upset about the performance from the passing game. We saw it on the sideline a little bit. Him and Smitty talking about it. Post game, the media asks AJ, what needs to improve, and he just says passing. Why did you throw your helmet? 3 and out. He was given one-word answers, not a lot of context to him, and of course, the Philadelphia media is going to eat that alive. So the narrative now is AJ Brown has beef with Jalen Hurts. I didn't take what he said that way. I thought he was talking in regards to the passing unit as a whole in its totality, because when you look at it, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert when healthy, but hey, Grant Calcaterra stepped up, so throw Grant Calcaterra in there. Jahan Dotson, Saquon out of the backfield, and Jalen Hurts throwing him the rock. There's no reason that this passing attack shouldn't be, good. I'm not saying it should be top 5 with, a Hall of Fame running back in the backfield. Yeah, I said it. Hall of Fame running back with the best offensive line in football. That's the identity. But, when you need to work the pass off of that, it should be boom, 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 because you have guys that have been around for a couple years in AJ and Devontae where it's one and the same with Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? So when AJ Brown said that, that's how I took it. This unit as a whole isn't living up to the standard. They're not reaching their potential. Sure, the advent of Saquon Barkley is going to take away from the volume in the passing game, as it should. As it should. This is why we signed Saquon Barkley. But when we get the opportunities in the pass game, it has to be, like we never left. And the synchronization, as Jalen Hurts said, was off. It was clear. It was off. It was off. And so that happened. And then Brandon Graham yesterday went on WIP, as he does every week, to discuss the Eagles, the game that just happened, the game coming up in the week. He made an assumption about the relationship between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Pretty much said that, well, I don't know exactly what's going on, but AJ Brown needs to be more accountable because he can be better at things. Jalen Hurts is trying his best to make things right. And that there's some beef. You know what I mean? They didn't really exactly say there's beef, but he just said, they have something going on between them. They're working through it, and they need to be men about it and talk to one another about it. And he shouldn't have made that assumption because, Twitter reacted as it did. And, now everybody's saying that the Eagles are dead. The Eagles are dead. AJ and Jalen's relationship is dead. Like, is it really? Is it really dead? I'm going to put it to you like this. The Eagles are not, or me as an Eagles fan, I'll say this. I'm not in the business for drama. I'm not here to talk about the gossip, and, that's not what we revolve this team around. We revolve this team around winning. I'll show you exactly. We revolve our team around this. Super Bowl rings. This one's great. I need another one. That's what we revolve our team around. Winning. We revolve it around winning. When did winning not become the main thing? When was it not the main thing? Why do we care so much about how it looks? We're having a historic rushing season. Yeah, we're not going to pass the ball as much. I understand we extended AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and we paid Jalen Hurts all this money. Saquon Barkley's in the backfield. Everybody's not going to get the ball. It's just how it is. So, and I'll give AJ credit over the course of the season. This has been kind of his thing when he's level headed. Hey, I'm not going to get as many touches, and I understand that. I have to make the most of those that come to me. And he's done a good job of that. For him not to get the opportunities on Sunday, I understand the frustration. But he was really coming from a different angle. And of course, the toxic Philly media had to spin it as, oh yeah, AJ and Jalen are the new McNabb and T.O. That's not it at all. Jalen is AJ's godfather, his daughter. Godfather. That's deeper than football. So now that they play with each other and they have Saquon Barkley in the backfield, now they're not cool. Now they're not boys. I find that hard to believe. And it didn't make matters better when BG said, well, they were friends before they played with each other and, things change. Again, that got taken way out of context because the way that I took it, I mean, at first I was like, oh, that's not good. But I had to sit on it. I had to think about it. You got to let it marinate sometimes. You can't just, at the hip. Think about it. Sleep on it. So I slept on it. And this is how I take it. Yeah, they were friends before, but things change. Their relationship evolved in a different way. They were just, best buds before, they played together. Now, not only are they best buds, but they're coworkers, they're teammates. So there's an added dynamic to that relationship. Doesn't mean they're not good friends. When Nick Sirianni came on the radio this morning and said they eat lunch together every day. They prayed with each other. They did pregame, them and Smitty. So my question is, where's the truth? And the answer is somewhere in the middle. I venture to believe it's more closer to the side of, hey, we're frustrated that the unit as a whole isn't producing to the standard, rather than, hey, I'm not getting my stats. Feed me the ball. Now, that's what a lot of people take it as. That's not what it is at all. I don't believe that one bit. Can the passing game be better? Absolutely. There's no denying that. There's no discounting that. Hey, they're subpar. They're playing subpar, and they have to answer for that. They got to make it better, because once we get into these, January, hopefully into February games, like if we make it to the bowl, we're going to need to be locked in and loaded in the passing game and in sync, on the same page to win. So that's going to be huge. Do I think we can turn this around? Absolutely. I am not worried about it one bit. I'm not. I'm standing 10 toes down. If this is the hill that I'm going to die on, so be it. I'm not worried about it, because we've seen it multiple times. Last year, AJ and Jalen had that skirmish on the sideline, I think in the Tampa Bay game. And, everybody asked about it. Y'all beefing? What's going on? Y'all good? And AJ was like, yeah, I get emotional on the sideline sometimes. High intensity moments. And, Jalen and I aren't beefing. And he's been quoted multiple occasions that he supports Jalen Hurts. He will ride with his guy. And if you're trading Jalen away, Fucking trade me too. out of A.J. Brown's mouth himself. I don't think T.O. ever said, if McNabb's getting traded, trade me too. Because I want to play for him and nobody else. It tells you all you need to know. And then this past offseason, he said how much he wants to be in Philly, how he wants to end his career here. So what's the conversation? These things happen. These spurts happen all the time. And I think there's some truth to what BG said on WIP last night about, they're working through something. Everybody has, and he said, like, everybody has stuff that they're working through, but it's all behind the scenes. I think that everybody's wrong in this scenario. You want to ask me who was wrong, A.J. Brown or Brandon Graham? My answer is all of them. They're all wrong. You want to know why they're all wrong? Because they opened their mouth to the media. Everybody should have just shut the fuck up, figured it out, and then been like, hey, things haven't been good, but we've hashed it out. We're on the same page. We're going to be better next week. And that starts with me and the preparation we do this week. Boom. That's it. Beef squashed. Or squabble gone. Move on. No, we had to put out a million fucking fires, and they're still not out on the outside. Internally, I have no idea. I hope that, they squabbled what they did. They're both men, and I expect them to have whatever conversation they need to have and, move on, get better from it. Because, again, at the end of the day, they're close friends and teammates, and they both want to win. They both want to be great, and they both want to have a big part in why they are great. So let's not penalize them for that. They get a little bit emotional. It comes out of a good place. You know what I mean? So I don't think, anything is like malintent. I think everybody just wants to win, but they want to do it the right way, and they want to be good. They want to be a big reason why. That's really all why AJ's mad, because we're winning, but we're not living up to the standard, and he's not playing a big enough role in that, and why he can help the team win, because he knows, hey, if you give me opportunities, I can change this game. Like any great player. Any great player wants the ball in their hands because they know that they can change the game. But football's the greatest team sport, and I do think that, the Eagles have the right culture to, kind of, level that out in terms of, the waves that have been created. I think they can kind of calm that. And, the leadership inside. I know, say what you want about Nick Sirianni, but he's a good leader of men. He's a good leader of men. X's and O's, hey, whatever. Throw it out the window, because, like, hey, I've been documented on here multiple times saying he's not an X's and O guy. He's a rah-rah guy. He's a good leader of men. I got to give him credit where credit's due. And, this is a pivotal point in the season, because now the question is this Eagles team cooked? Everybody wants to say yeah. But guess what? I'm not. We ain't cooked. We ain't cooked one bit, bro. Next week's going to be a huge game against Pittsburgh. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Do we come out passing? We are going to need to establish a bit of a passing game, but is that going to be the focal point of the game, or are we just going to continue to do what we've been doing? It's going to say a lot about, the mental of this team. Here's what I think. Again, I think, it's my opinion, we have the best running back in football right now, Saquon Barkley, paired with top 2 offensive line, and I don't think they're number 2 in football. That's the Eagles' offensive line. That's your identity, and it's been established the last 2 months, and it's been paying dividends. Obviously, we're on a 9-game win streak. We're going for a franchise high in win streak. This is going to be 10 games potentially that we could win in a row. And obviously, the mission is Super Bowl. So, however you got to do it, get it done. And again, like I said, if the success breeds off of Saquon Barkley being, the engine, which he has, and everybody's embraced it, continue to ride that high. Ride it as far as it'll take you. Jalen Hurts, sure, he needs to be better in spots. Absolutely. But the moving of the goalpost that he gets constantly needs to stop. And they get back in sync with the pass game on Sunday. He can stop all of that against a really good Steelers defense. If he comes out and throws for 250 and 3 total touchdowns, whether it's 2 passing, 1 rushing, or just 3 touchdowns, shut them all up. A.J. Brown has a good game. He gets a tub. Smitty gets a tub. Shut them all up. I am sick of the moving of the goalpost for Jalen Hurts because he's still a great quarterback. I get that, at times he may miss a read, but it happens. It fucking happens. It's football. It happens. The most important thing for me is when he needs to make the play, when we need a drive in a game, he's there. He's there. He makes the play. He takes us down, gets us the points that we need. He wins us the football game. When did winning not be the main thing? That's all I'm wondering. That's all I'm asking. When did losing pretty trump winning ugly? Josh Allen had 6 total touchdowns and lost. I get it. He had a great game. I'm not shitting on Josh Allen. Great game. Haven't seen it since Otto Graham. 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. Haven't seen it since Otto Graham. The 1950s, 1960s. But he lost. Joe Burrow all season has been playing his ass off. There's no denying it. He's statistically been the best quarterback in football. He has lost. Jalen Hurts wins. When was that not the main thing? Winning. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Since when was winning not cool? Like, are we okay with stats and not Super Bowls? Or playoff runs? Because I guarantee you in a year or two, we're not going to remember, oh my God, the numbers that Joe Burrow put up. We're not going to give a shit. We're going to give a shit about who won the Super Bowl. Who made a deep playoff run. That's what we're worried about. So why are we going to penalize Jalen Hurts for winning? Because he doesn't win the way you want him to win? Because he's not quarterbacky enough? He doesn't sit in the pocket and throw it all over the map? Hey, newsflash, we have a Hall of Fame generational talent in the backfield paired with the best offensive line in football. What do you expect is going to happen? You can't have it all. But the most important thing to me is winning. If we're winning the football game, whether Jalen Hurts is throwing 400 yards every week and Saquon's only running 50, or if Saquon's running 200 and Jalen's just throwing 80. Don't matter to me. If we're winning and we're winning convincingly, which we have the last 2 months, then what is there to complain about? You tell me. I got nothing to complain about. And again, this isn't me saying Jalen Hurts doesn't have things that he should improve on, because he absolutely does. He should be more in sync with the receivers. I do think, he should be quicker in some of the reads, just better anticipation in spots. Just commit to an easy throw at times. We see him kind of get lost in the pocket. You got to work on that. And, every time he said that he needs to work on it, it starts with me, he does it. Think about earlier this year with the turnovers. He said, it starts with me. I have to be better with not turning the ball over. Guess what? He has not turned the ball over other than 2 times in Dallas since the bye week. I have no doubt in my mind that he will get right and that this passing game will get right. But don't let it get in the way of your identity. And that's the thing that I fear with, the outside noise, to this magnitude now. We're having a historic rushing season. Don't compromise that just because there's a bunch of hit pieces out there about AJ and Jalen. Sunday will be telling for sure. What do I think? I think the Eagles will come out to play. I do. I think they'll rise to the occasion. We've seen this with the Eagles, at times this year, honestly. They kind of play to their competition at times. Like Carolina, I think, is a prime example of that, given, they've been playing great football over the last month. But, again, you look at, like, Baltimore. Baltimore is a Super Bowl contender in the AFC, right? Well, the Eagles took care of business. They had him 24-12, before Lamar put up a garbage time TD. What's the problem? What's the problem? That's all I'm trying to figure out. What is the issue here? I didn't know that stats were more important than wins. So, yeah, that's all of the drama. I think that they will get it figured out. I think this has just kind of been blown way out of proportion, bigger than what it is, because we've seen this before. AJ Brown, I'm going to be honest, AJ Brown is a little emotional at times. Respectfully. AJ Brown, respectfully, is emotional. The social media run-ins last year, addressing WIP in the off season, and, high emotion situations on the sideline during games, like last year and this year alike. He's an emotional guy. And there was that point in time last year where he was not talking to the media because, you didn't have anything nice to say. Don't say anything at all. So, I think it's just a matter of he made a mistake in, being very brief with the media, and they kind of ran off with it. I think, when cooler heads prevail, AJ will understand, hey, I just want what's best for the team. And that's why I was upset. I want to get this right. And I want to win a Super Bowl. Like everybody does. So I think it's being blown out of proportion. I think everybody's, running running to the hills, crying wolf. Honestly, I think we're crying wolf. So we'll see. But for all the Eagles fans and all the fans overall alike, jumping ship on this football team, analysts, media, pundits, Eagles fans, football fans, for all you motherfuckers writing us off and jumping off the ship, stay on that side, bro. Stay on that side, because I don't want to hear your ass when we are making a deep playoff run talking about, oh, the Eagles might go to the Super Bowl. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't. I'm riding with this team till the wheels fall off. Just like I did last year. And the wheels fell off before the season was over. And I was just sitting on that thing. Pause. No. I was just chilling in the back seat with the car on fire. I didn't leave. Maybe maybe for the wild card game I knew, but hey, I've been here, and I ain't going nowhere. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not going nowhere. I have all the faith in this football team to finish out the season strong and set out on the goals that they set out for themselves. I think, like a lot of teams at times, there's bumps in the road. That's all about how you handle it. Sunday is going to be very telling as to how the Eagles handle this bump in the road, but I think they will handle it the right way, and I think we get a big win against Pittsburgh. I really do. It's going to be tough. Pittsburgh has a really good defense, especially a run defense. But you know what? You know what makes me feel good and warm in my heart about going up against a good run defense? We went up against the number one rushing defense in Baltimore. Saquon still ate. Still had a $110 and a touchdown. I think we could run on anybody. But it's a matter of getting the pass game going, and I think we will. This is definitely not handled the right way, but the energy and the intent was at the right time, in the right place for this passing game. We're not playing in the pass as to the expectation that we should. Let's fix it. So I think they will fix it. I think it'll look a lot better. But again, let's not take away from the rush game. That's the balance. Because obviously, that's what's gotten us to this point, to 11-2. Let's not abandon it. But we can certainly be better and, on target in the pass game. And that coincides with players and coaches alike. Just got to get extra work in. That's all. And I think they will. We got it. We have a good, headstrong team. The leaders on this team are very headstrong, and they understand the assignment. So I don't have any worries about it. So keep down. That's all I'm going to say. Stay on that side. Yeah, Kyle, I'm talking to you. Stay on that side, bro. Stay on that side. Wild card exit. The relationship dead. Hey, bro. Worry about your team. Worry about your team, dog. Pretty soon, you'll be able to flip-flop our records. You wish you had this problem. You wish you had this problem, bro. Don't act like you deny it. So, to wrap up, I think, in short, this has been blown up by the media, as it always is. I think all parties involved were wrong in how they went about it. I think what was said especially from what AJ said. Not wrong. It's not wrong. I didn't have a problem with what they said. It was a matter of who they said it to, where they said it. And, the words, the delivery could have been better. But the intent, the thought behind it, and where it's coming from, not a problem whatsoever. All valid. But where the delivery and where it was delivered to, who was delivered to, all wrong. AJ Brown, Brandon Graham, all wrong. And I love them. They're my dogs, man. BG, AJ, they're y'all my dogs. Just shut the fuck up sometimes. Not to the media. Just don't tell them that shit. Keep it in-house until it's all good. And then just, hey, had some extra work to do this week. We were not in a good spot last week with the passing game. We got to be better, and I think we will. We're putting in that work. Boom. That's it. That's all you needed. But we'll get through it. I don't think the Eagles are dead. I don't think the season is over. The Super Bowl aspirations, the Super Bowl propaganda is gone. No, it's not. I believe in this team wholeheartedly. And, we just got to finish our food. The chips will fall where they may in terms of the seeding with the number 1 seed. Depending on, how the playoffs shake out. I don't think being a 2 seed is the worst thing in the world. Just depending on how things shake out. Because I do think if we're locked in the 2 seed, week 18, we'll probably rest our starters and give them a bye week. So, it is what it is. It's just going to be very important to see how this team responds into Sunday, and that'll be very telling of what the rest of the season is going to look like. I'm not discounting that one bit, but I think they will respond the right way, and this will galvanize the troops to say, you know what? You think we're beefing? You think this is a wrap? Oh, yeah? Well, watch this, and we're going to get some good Eagles football. With that being said, this has been the Day One Podcast. If you enjoyed, drop a like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss a video. We're going to be more locked in. It's been rough. I haven't gotten to, spew my propaganda because Lowe's is holding my boy hostage. Let bro eat. We got people to feed. We got the people, the lovely subscribers of Day One Podcast to appease and chop it up with on a weekly basis. So keep an eye out. We're going to get more locked in on the content, shorts, videos, long form videos, the lives, things like that. So, we're here. We're gonna make this right, just like the Eagles are gonna make this thing right. But tell a friend to tell a friend, whether you're on a boat, bus, or plane. You can catch Day One Podcast content anywhere. So listen, Cricket Wireless, Sprint Mobile. What they got now? Total Wireless. I think that's the new one. Go get you one. Unlimited. Straight talk. Get you some phone data. Download the Day One Podcast. You can burn it to a CD and listen to it as an MP3. However you got to do it. But definitely lock in. We're going to be more consistent. We're going to make this thing right. So with that being said, my co-host Kyle in the ether wherever, I'm Anthony. So long.